For my farm homestead, I want to create enough food to provide for myself and my family. To grow enough nutritious food, I would use a variety of practices that would not only provide my nutritional needs, but also improve the landscape. The idea is to be way beyond organic. By starting small with the amount of animals, perennials, and scale, I can best create the plan that allows me to use the least amount of labor, produce nutrient-dense foods, and improve the landscape and community around me. The purpose of my agricultural practices and dwelling is to create not only a home, but a sanctuary rich in a biodiverse variety of flora and fauna for food and health that can provide for my family. The process will never truly end, only perpetuate a passion and a better understanding of self, sustainability, the future, and the direct environment. All the while sustaining a healthy, vibrant lifestyle, which allows me to share my knowledge, ideas, experiments, and successes with the community while benefiting and sequestering global impacts on the world. Here is a Google Maps shot of the property. It's only a few miles away from Highway 9 off of Hoosier Pass, where this sustainable farm oasis plan rests. The lot is about 1.15 acres. It's currently totally empty. The property slopes to the east on a hillside, and the western side of the property borders national forest, and there's tons of trees. It's located in zones 5 and 6. As you can see, the precipitation is below U.S. average, so some design work will be needed to maximize the use of water on the property. The area also has above U.S. average sunlight, which can be used to my advantage. Directly across the road is the middle fork of the South Platte River, but it is not part of the property. However, there is good fishing there. And as you can see, it's also a wetland. So with the wetland bordering the eastern side of the property and the dense national forest bordering the western side of the property, there's a good chance you can run into elk, deer, moose, foxes, birds, and various other Rocky Mountain wildlife that can be seen in the area. This photo looks up from the road to the west. You can see how the property is a slope down towards the east. You can also see the variety of healthy pine and aspen trees, along with the various native grasses and some brush. This photo shows a bit of what's happening on the property and its microclimates. The southeastern and eastern part of the property is fully open to sunshine. The southern and western aspects of the lot receive a lot of sun with some trees providing some shade. However, one problem could be that the north-facing aspect of the lot could become a frosty pocket once a home is established. My design focuses on integrating various designs and practices for increased production, maximizing energy collection from the sun, and maximizing use of the landscape while improving ecosystem health. The design is trying to incorporate silvopasture and mob grazing practices through already existing forest, restoration agriculture practices using various layers of perennials, and permaculture design to maximize land use to the highest proficiency. In my blueprint map here, I based the design around the location of the home. With the property sloping towards the east, snowmelt in the spring can be a hassle, so I located the home in the northwest corner of the lot. However, there may be some snowmelt runoff from the driveway. Being in the state of Colorado, collecting rainwater isn't legal, so I had to design other measures to take care of water needs for the home, animals, and plants. By adding a variety of swales and banks to slow down the movement of snowmelt and rainfall, I can make sure that the water on the property is consumed by the annuals and perennials planted around the property. I have placed the restoration agriculture perennials along the eastern side of the property so that they can use the natural slope of the hill to help reduce erosion and keep water on the property. The trees will also act as a buffer for road traffic and as a windbreak as well. I would raise a variety of animals in small numbers on the property. Using a leader-follower mob grazing technique, I would start with a cow, a couple of sheep, a few geese, and a half a dozen chickens. There will also be bees on the property. The animals would aid in reducing the manual labor by allowing them to graze in pastures where they can knead the soil, reduce disease, increase pest management, remove weeds, and fertilize the farm, all while eating healthy, good food. These animals will happily be rotated through the various pastures I have marked on the map, as well as through the restoration agricultural area when needed. All I will need is a few portable fences. By using permaculture design, it will help create a systematic, holistic farm plan to properly scale and designate areas for the interactive use of the farm. I will use the zones to balance the areas needing a lot of attention from the areas that need the least attention. And of course, I will have herbs that I don't even have to take my slippers off to get. First, Zone 0. This covers the home and the most frequented area of the property. Then Zone 1. This includes the greenhouse and the annual plant garden. Zone 2 covers the area that will be used for hanging out and enjoying the property, so it's fairly well used. Zone 3. This area is the area that animals will be foraging on most and in the pastures. Zone 4. This is the perennial area. Once started, it shouldn't really require frequent attention, just beyond harvest. Zone 5. This is the only area on the property that will not be altered and left alone. But the bordering western side is still national forest. My flow map of my farm focuses on being a closed-loop system, meaning that few nutrients will leave the land and few nutrients will be brought onto the land to supplement the needs. The goal is to increase topsoil, not deplete it. All nutrients needed to provide the soil will be utilized from the manure, from the various species, and from composted soil mixes with food scraps. If any excess of manure is on site, it will also be composted. So the manure will build fertility for the pastures, and the pastures will feed the animals. I will also be rotating crops to help fertility rather than overworking the soil. And most importantly, I'll be keeping records of the nutrients used in the crop rotation plans so that I can ensure the soil is gaining organic matter and helping create a better, healthier ecosystem. I have designed my farm and home to be a net zero system. That would mean that I would run my fields and my home off of solar and wind energy and no fossil fuels. Perhaps to plant trees and some of the construction of the buildings, it may take some fossil fuels to implement those systems from the beginning. The focus on the system is to be sustainable from the start, and that would mean beyond fossil fuels and beyond organic for the lifespan of the land and the home. But beyond the shovel and a few other hand tools, the largest tool on site would be the human brain. Through a mix of creative design, restorative agriculture, permaculture, mob grazing, and whatnot, my farm would allow the systems to do most of the labor for me. By using animals and allowing them to responsibly graze on the land, it would allow me to reduce my human labor and increase yields at the same time. Simultaneously, these animals and the flora of the system will all live in harmony and happily live on the farm together. Instead of fighting ecology and the landscape, I will enhance the area and maximize its potential so that the land is healthy and my family is healthy. It is often easy to write a plan like this. But when it becomes a reality, it becomes another story. There will be some failures, there will be some mistakes, and I will constantly find ways to do it better. But that's all part of the adventure. This project isn't to just find a better way to eat. My biggest inspiration to someday create this in reality is the desire to stop trying to conquer nature. We've spent too many years fighting the natural cycles. I believe it is time to work with them.